Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And of course, it's a perfect opportunity to say Happy New Year. Coach K, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, my dear Elizabeth. We have not seen each other for some time now.
Honestly.
Yeah, since the that we got together in December.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That was just before Christmas, wasn't it?
That's right.
Oh,
And it's been some time now. And then we took a break from a Confidence Culture podcast. And now we are here at the second week of January. And it's been a good year. So 2026, what have you started, or have you been still contemplating this beginning of the year, Elizabeth?
wow. It has started. That's one thing that's for sure is that 2026 has kicked off. I think for me it got after like the first few days. Once school started, the year just started rolling. I was out of London for sessions in schools. I ended up
Mhm.
getting snowed in Birmingham. Um, so yeah, it's been an interesting to think that it's only 13 days into 2026. It feels like we've been here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that pretty picture of you standing amidst snow and enjoying the snow. We had drizzles of snow here, but you know what? It was nice to see some white wool laid all over the place, and it looked very pretty.
Mm,
But I
good.
think Birmingham had a very good fall of snow.
Yeah, it did. Do you know what? It literally snowed all night.
Ah, that's why you had a nice settling snow there.
It snowed all night. I was meant to be in the school in the morning, but the school got closed. They couldn't come in. So the kids, I guess, were excited because it meant they could have a snow day and just make the most of it. So, hey, I had a night away in Birmingham.
Self-care in Birmingham, all by yourself, enjoying the ambience of a hotel and relaxing. You know, it's the beginning of the year, and mothers have so much on their plate.
Mm,
They have to settle their children into school and get all the things sorted, books, classes, all these things sorted. And it takes a toll on a mother like yourself who also runs a business. You've got to, thank God you have a husband who supports you, in the sense, you both have entrepreneurial business, and
mm,
it's an extra hand to help with Janaya, and but everything is about planning.
absolutely.
Everything is about planning. So yeah, I'm still just getting started. I'm still planning, and I'm just getting started, and it has been a good start, I must say.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
no
Yeah, I
complaints.
think I think for me one of the things that's pushed me to really just get the ball rolling is having things entering my diary, having things coming into my diary, and I'm like, oh wow, there's some amazing things coming up, and this is
Mhm.
here, that's there. So it's not a sluggish start. It's let's get the ball rolling. So it's been good.
Yeah, yeah, I think, yeah, but those who procrastinate will will struggle with this,
Mm.
especially if you want to do something totally different, like having a side hustle, or today we are talking about reinventing yourself. So there's so much to unpack in this topic.
Mm.
Both of us, we kind of went around the block and reinvented ourselves. This is since when really went on board since COVID, no?
Yeah, I think so. So my transition was literally this sort of time. My last
Mm.
day in work, or my last official day at work, was 31st of December 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning of January 2021, I was like, hey, I'm now a coach. Hello. So yeah, the transition was literally this time round. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. So it's been 6 years we have walked down this entrepreneurial road, even though I started 2018.
Mm,
I think it was very low scaled, but things just picked up. And even though it didn't pick up, but it was a learning curve for me
mm.
since COVID. Since COVID, it was such a learning curve for me. And here we are. We thank God for the journey that He has given us this last 6 years. From glory to glory, from from a small little oil, it has become a little bit more bigger than. No, of course, we are still there is intention for us to grow every day.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So Elizabeth, I'm going to kickstart the topic today because it really kind of resonates in my heart. And I know we always speak different topics coming into the fact that we are reinventing ourselves.
Mm,
Reinvention is always about change, and
yes.
what more so the beginning of January. And to reinvent yourself, I think the key word, or the word that we always need to keep close to our hearts, is being very intentional about it.
Absolutely. That's an important
Yeah,
word.
yeah. To reshape our identity, our mindset, our
Mm,
habits, and our direction, so we can thrive and run this new race that is set before us. But Elizabeth, what if you do not know what is the race that is set before us? How can we help our viewers think differently, out of the box? Because we talked about being intentional with our mindset.
mm.
So what are your thoughts about this?
So, one of the things I would probably suggest, if you're a person of faith, I would suggest a time of prayer, just
Mm-hmm.
taking some time out and asking God, like, God, what is on your heart for me for 2026? That would be one place to start. What I would also suggest is there is something that we use in coaching sometimes called the wheel of life.
Mm,
And with the wheel of life, what you tend to do is I want to say you put your life in different segments. So, family, education, work, spirituality, that sort of thing. And then, so you can find out this information online. You can find a wheel of life diagram online, if you literally just Google wheel of life. But you put your life in different segments, and then you kind of reflectively measure where you're at, in those different areas, or how satisfied you are in those different areas. And then what you should effectively see, if you are living a well balanced life, you will have like a circle. But it's very rare to have a circle. So sometimes you'll find that there's a part of your life, maybe financial part of your life is dipping. And so the places where you score the list, those are areas that
need to
would
work
be
on.
advisable for you to work on, or invest some time into, so that you can be more satisfied with life. So those are two things. So for the person of faith, I would say start with just going to God and getting some direction. But I
Mhm.
would also suggest doing this wheel of life.
Thank you for that answer. But first point of contact would be asking God, what
Mhm.
is the outline, or what is the journey for 2026? Sometimes we still didn't or finish our journey on in 2025. So there could be a
Mhm.
continuity in 2026, the journey. But you know what? Embarking on the journey is so important because sometimes we get discouraged.
Mm,
So when we have a specific direction in front of us, or you could say goals, and then you can run that path with such vigor and also with enthusiasm.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what is this thing about reinventing ourselves in 2026? I will ask you to share what does it mean for you. But for me, I'll just let me start. Let me be a little selfish. I was talking to somebody who I coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, this is part of our uh, One Rock. We do this voluntary coaching. I think you also have a coachee, and I also have a coachee. And today I asked her, what is one thing that you want to get in this 2026? And suddenly she
Mm,
said, I feel I'm stuck.
mm,
There is no movement. And that is a very dangerous place to be. Our life has to be like waters.
mm.
There is movement. There is movement. What if the water doesn't move, stagnation, then it stings, right, Elizabeth?
That's it.
Yeah. So I was very sad when she said that. But we kind of spoke about a few things, gave her a few thoughts to think about. And a very intelligent, very smart girl. But for her to start off the whole year's feeling, saying that she feel stuck is not a good place to be.
Mm,
So I want to encourage each one of us to analyze and to reflect. We spoke a lot about reflection last year. Reflect on the areas that we are stuck. So one of the areas that I am stuck is this thing called AI. I am like, that rapid technological shift that everyone is going through. What's happening to this AI? How am I going to help myself to understand, to get around it without being too dependent on it? So
mm.
that's the process that I'm going through now. And Elizabeth, age is just a number, but you know what? Sometimes it does show that certain things is like, oh my God, what's happening? Over to you.
Wow. Um, I think to just maybe if your coach is watching now, or maybe just to speak into anyone who might be feeling like they're in a place where they're stuck. I think first of all, just to acknowledge like where you are and how far you have come, the journey that has brought you to where you are, and
Correct.
also just taking a moment to dream and stir up some aspirations and think about maybe what are the dreams you've put on the shelf,
Mm,
what are the things that you've forgotten about. The classic question of, if nothing was standing in your way this year and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you like to do? Or when you get to December 2026, what are some of the things you'd like to say, oh, I'm so glad I achieved this, or I'm so glad I was able to do this? Just being able to reflect on those things, the things that bring you joy, because we all have those things. And sometimes the circumstances around us makes us feel stuck. Sometimes the people around us might be making comments that make us feel stuck. For
mhm.
example, if you are somebody who maybe is an I want to say an older single, but I don't know what age I'm referring to when I say older. But someone who's above a certain age and you're not married, you've got no kids, and people might
I'm
be
married.
like, you might have pressure around you that's making you feel like, wait, my time has expired, or I've missed this train, or whatever. But actually, it's being able to enjoy where you are on the way to where you're going. So acknowledging where you are, but actually looking forward with anticipation and with hope, that you are going to get to this end place. You're going to get to this destination. From a biblical perspective, I like to call promised land, but you're going to get to the dream, the desired end. And you're going to get there if you commit to putting the work in, if you commit to being intentional. So, one of the mantras I love to use: when I see it, believe it, act on it, my dream can become a reality. When I see it, believe it, act on it, my dream can become a reality. So, what are you envisioning for this year? What would you like to achieve? Like, it doesn't have to be something humongous. I would encourage you to dream big, yes. But are there some things you would like to achieve? If so, write them down. We've spoken on here a lot before. Create a vision board. Create a vision board. Thank you, Francois, for joining on LinkedIn. Francois Chije, I hope I got your name right. Thank you for joining. So yes, take a moment to create a vision board, picture it, envision it. One of the things that a lot of us stop doing is we have stopped dreaming. And because we have stopped dreaming, life looks hopeless. You know, but actually, if you take a moment to dream, allow yourself to dream a little. Look at the possibility of, but what if? What if life was like this? What can happen? And then the responsibility is now on you to actually start making moves. Or, as I like to say, bust a move. Take a step. Do something that scares you. You know, one of the things that can help with motivation is if you get into the habit of doing things that scare you. You surprise yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, I hope my coachee listens to that. I will send her this link. Yeah. So don't run away. My question is AI and the technological shift. I know you are very tech savvy, Elizabeth. I think a lot of people um, are struggling with this and yet not struggling. So, what is your take on this, Elizabeth?
It's interesting you asked about AI because Pauline, who has really been diving into AI, has just joined the conversation. So she might be the best person to speak into this AI because she knows more than I do. She's actually done some courses and got some certifications around AI. And she's been producing some amazing stuff as well through AI.
Right. Yes.
You know, so for me, AI is one of those things that it's here to stay. It's here for now. It's what we have in front of us. You can use it to your advantage, but you also have to be careful to not switch off your brain, if that makes sense. So don't give all the power to AI. Use AI to help you. So, for example, what I like to do, or the way I like to use AI, I literally stick to ChatGPT. That's as basic as I go. But one of the things I would tend to do is I would give it a body, I'd give it a framework, and then I would say, can you sharpen this? And then it sort of packages it and sharpens it for me. And then I put it out there. So I've not just gone to AI and say, just create this, but I've actually given it a background. I've breathed life into it. You know, so it's one of those things that it can make things easier for you. So use it to your advantage. Don't ignore it. I know there's some Christians that say AI is of the devil, but the reality is that the times that we are living in, people are going to AI to ask questions, right? So if we say that it's a thing of the devil and let's just avoid it, it's not going to help. It's not going to make it go away. It's not going to make it go away. Thank you. The key thing is learning how to prompt. So putting the right prompts into AI, and it works for you. It will create what you want it to create. And if it doesn't work, change the prompt. change the instruction. When I was at uni, I did a bit of coding, computer language, and it was not my forte. I tried a bit of Java. I was like, Java, we are not friends. One time we had some coursework to do. I leaned onto my colleague who knew a bit more than I did, and we put some things in. We wrote this program, and it did something. There were some other languages I preferred, but Java was just not for me. So AI is more user friendly in that sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would definitely say embrace it, but don't let it do the thinking for you. Now, some people have gotten into the habit where I think I had somebody talking about how people are using AI like a counselor, like a bouncing board, if that makes sense. So running your thoughts through AI, like, oh, AI, this is how I feel, or AI giving you advice, which is okay. But I think you have to remember that AI is not a human being, right? And AI uses information that's out there.
Just picks up.
So those are things that you need to be conscious of. But definitely in the times that we're living in, use it. Use it. Don't run away from it.
Yeah. And I like what Pauline says about prompting it properly, because sometimes when I prompt it, if I'm not specific, it throws out things very poetic. So what is this? So I have now become very, very intentional about simple Queen's English, please. If not, it becomes so poetic. Like I'm suddenly becoming poetic. I could never write poems. But you know what? I don't know how it is always picked up this, and I have to no, no, it's not poetic, just simple English. So it's quite funny. And yes, to prompt it correctly. If you prompt it wrongly, it kind of throws up some rubbish you don't even
Mm.
understand. And always the facts check the facts, and that's important. So for those who are afraid to go into AI, do not be afraid. It won't bite because it's still within your control. Thank you, Pauline.
That's it. And you can use it creatively, just like Pauline is doing.
Yeah,
So
and
if
some of
you're
the
watching
songs are
today,
amazing. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, for whoever's watching today, you can follow P Kumba Designs on YouTube, and she's got some amazing. She's created music
Yeah,
using
beautiful.
AI. You
Yes.
know, so it's a you can just like everything out there, you can use it for good. But yes, it can also be used for some crazy things.
Jehovah God always has my back. In fact, I do listen to your songs, Pauline. Very encouraged. So yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. If you know how to use it properly, it is wonderful. So Elizabeth, moving on. So one of the things that um, this is personally to reinvent myself is to be focusing more on mental and emotional well-being, because the whole works, it's global. Globally, people are talking a lot about it,
Mm,
because the breakdown of mental the breakdown of the brain, the mind, and the way people are working towards achieving their goals, they are neglecting work-life balance and neglecting themselves. So I think we, as being intentional about this, we have to be very intentional also about our health. It's not about running, 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 running to gain that big prize at the expense of our health. So I know, Elizabeth, you speak a lot about mental well-being, and emotional well-being. So, it's every month, we can talk about it. I know there's what's that, designated days to celebrate mental well-being months and stuff like that. But we're throwing out to you and saying, take care of your well-being. It is so important.
Mm. Mm. You know, it goes without saying how important it is, because if you're broken, what are you going to do, right? If you're not physically, if physically you're in pain, then you're not going to be able to live the life that you want to live. I before the end of the year, I had the opportunity to go on holiday with my mom and my sister, and we had a really lovely time. We went to Morocco, so it was nice and sunny, and my mom enjoyed it. But she did say, if not for the pain, I would have enjoyed it more. But it was actually something really good for our well being, because we went out somewhere sunny, enjoying the environment. So we were able to relax, which was really good. So it was very satisfactory. But the pain was in the background. So it affected her level of enjoyment, so to speak. So I think when we talk about well being, sometimes people think my well-being only becomes an issue when I'm in pain or I'm ill. But actually, no, you need to create a daily habit of looking after yourself. So looking after your health, what are some healthy habits that you can adopt? Maybe you're somebody who always gets the bus. Can you choose to walk? Walk for 10 minutes every day. It might seem like it's not much, but actually it's something. All the little changes that you make can make a difference. If you're somebody that is always on the go, you're always busy, can you find 5 minutes in your schedule where you just
Right.
pause
Mm.
and be still? Just pause and be still. You could even have some music in the background, or just be you, yourself, and your thoughts. Little things like that can make a
That's,
difference.
that's right. That's right. Elizabeth, I want to plug something in at this point in this juncture.
Mm.
Is We talk about pain and evidently in our bodies, but a lot of us don't deal with the pain in our hearts.
Mm. Mm.
As women of faith, who we always advocate people. Today we spoke about prayer for direction, reading the word for direction,
Mm.
and I think we need to inwardly check what's in our heart that is breaking us down physically,
Mm.
because the pain in our hearts can be translated physically. I am seeing and I am hearing, and I'm also advising a lot of young people these days, young and the old, but more so the young. They are not dealing with the issues of the heart. They're just
Wow.
piling up, pushing it under the carpet, pushing it under the carpet. And of late, I've been hearing so many young people, 30s, 40s, just dropping down dead. And then the reason for death: heart attack,
Mm.
cancer. And these are things that you would expect somebody a lot older to go through an ailment like that. But I want to urge you, young people, old people, all ages, to check what's bothering and what's bugging deep down inside.
Mm.
Seek to uproot it out by the help of prayer, meditation, reflection. And when these things don't bother you, especially things like grudges, unforgiveness, bitterness, anger, all these things are plagues that deteriorate your heart. And then it shows out in your body as sickness.
Mm.
As, yes, of course, the triggers that we have. And women out there, men can smell you a mile away if you carry all this rubbish in your hearts. I can tell you, I was a victim of that. Till I till I dealt with the things that were bothering me. I was always sick, flu here, a cold here, a headache there, a backache, something like that. But till I realized, oh, this is all my own doing because I'm carrying all this baggage in my heart.
Mm.
So, as a transformational coach, I seem to see this on the rise. But everything has to be done in your own free will, right, Elizabeth? So let's begin this 2026 dealing with the things that you think you can't deal with. Because these triggers might be something that comes down your generation, something your
Mm.
parents did to you, something your uncle said to you, or somebody you had constant uh, verbal abuse by someone in the office, or someone in while you were growing up. Someone said you're not good enough, you're rubbish, you're fat, you're dark, you're black. All these things do not help our pain. Thank you, Pauline, for being so honest. So so that's something I want to urge all of us together to search. Let's keep our accounts short. Elizabeth, what is your thoughts about this, Elizabeth?
No, I think sometimes we don't often realize the baggage we are carrying around.
Mm-hmm.
We don't often realize how the baggage has become a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
We don't often realize how the baggage has become something that holds us back, almost like an anchor, but an anchor in a negative way. I remember when I was younger. So, for those that don't know, I grew up in Uganda. And sometimes when people were looking after their animals, their farm animals like goats, they would tie a rope loosely around the neck of the goat, and they would then tie the other end of a rope to something more stable. So it might be like a um,
Oh,
something more stable, basically, right?
mm,
I'm trying to look for the word, but the word has failed me. But they'll tie to something more stable, and so this goat could only go as far as the rope would stretch. And for some of us, that's what we have done. We have tied a rope around ourselves, a loose rope. Let's be clear on that. And that thing that the other end of the rope is attached to is probably like some issues that happened in the past, or maybe an experience that we had. And so as we try to move forward in life, we are always brought back to back then when this happened. We're always brought back as you try to move forward. And so you end up finding that it has become a limitation. And this, in coaching, we usually refer to as limiting beliefs. And sometimes, unless you take time to self-reflect, take time to sit with a coach, even sit with a counselor, because for some it's trauma. It's traumatic experiences that you have been through, but you have not taken time to heal through. And you're carrying on with life. Life seems okay, but it almost seems like you can only go so far. You can only go so far. And so you have to, if there's something that you do for yourself in 2026, is address those things.
mm-hmm.
Address the things that are holding you back. Thank you, Pauline. The triggers caused me to become trapped, and I did not understand why.
Mhm.
That's what happens. You know, Kiruba, you were
Trapped.
talking about like the inner work that we have to do, inner
Mhm.
healing. And for some, it might be like you said, unforgiveness. You know, and unforgiveness can be like can create like a root of bitterness. And actually, that can sometimes be linked to medical illnesses. So I remember one time I was doing some ministry work, and this lady came forward for prayer. And I was very taken aback by what she asked prayer for. Because this was when I was at uni. And we had a minister that had come from America to visit, and it just so happened that I was part of the team that was doing the ministry work and praying for people. But she came forward and she said, I have a lot of emotional baggage. Can you pray with me? And of course, I prayed with her. But there was work that she has to go away and do personally. So beyond the prayer, there'll be things that you have to do. You know, and if I remember correctly, Kirubai, from your story, one of the things you mentioned is just being able to get to that place where you let go and you forgive the abuser, forgive the
Mhm.
person who wronged you before you can properly move forward.
That's right. Because it will definitely show and resurrect in the areas like in your other relationships,
Mm,
sometimes in your finances, sometimes in your career, of course, most definitely in your health, your well being.
mm,
But I want to, it's sensitive, but I just wanted to say, because one of the things is in your relationships, especially if you're out there looking for someone to to find a life partner, be it a male or a female, if this part is not healed, you will attract the wrong person because like will attract like.
mm,
So if you're bitter and angry and unforgiving, you would generally tend to attract people like that.
mm,
And you don't want that because then there will be two world wars in the house because this is these are things is it's beyond my understanding, but this is the way God has created us to keep going back to him and saying, fix me, Lord,
mm,
fix me, so that two people can come in union as one to bring forth the purpose that God has got for us as a family, a assignment. Till I didn't deal with this things of the issue, my husband didn't walk into my life, you know.
mm,
'Cause I was stubborn. I was stubborn. I had lots of baggage, being defensive. Somebody says, hey, this is, these things are not good. But you know what? I will have a litany of excuses for it. But you know what? Till the Lord pinned me down and said, change. So
mm.
I always desired to live my life with a man. So till I took time to sort myself out, Robert never walked into my life.
Wow.
Bitter because of the things that gone through. But why
Mm,
carry? Because Jesus has carried everything on the cross for us. It is our pride that holds us back, Elizabeth. It's our ego that holds us back.
mm. You know, as you were speaking, one of the things that came to my mind is how it's so important for us to humble ourselves. and have honest conversations with ourselves.
Mhm.
Just being able to really like look at yourself and assess, not looking at yourself from a victim mindset, not looking at yourself from a negative lens, but actually just looking at yourself and asking certain questions, especially if you see repeated cycles.
Mm.
That's one clear sign that there is an issue.
Yeah, definitely. The
That's the
cycle. You got to
biggest.
break that cycle.
Mm.
And it's within
22
our reach. Sorry, go on.
it is absolutely within our reach, and 2026 doesn't have to be the same way 2025 and 2024 and 2023, 2020. It doesn't have to go, it doesn't have to be the same routine.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be the same cycle. And you have the power, just like Kirabai said, it's within our reach. You have the power to break the cycle that you currently find yourself in. You have the power. No one, for some of us, nobody can do it but you. That doesn't mean that you can't get help. You can get help. But the biggest action will have to come from you.
I think the half the battle is won when you acknowledge you need help. Once you acknowledge it, and you're not in the mode of in a denial mode, the battle is won.
Mm.
So, ladies and gents, it's time to sort out the affairs of our heart.
Get your affairs in order.
Put our affairs in order. You never know. When you just surrender, you turn and say, and then God might drop in your heart. That's the man you're going to marry. That's the woman you're going to marry. It might be just under your nose, but your eyes are blinded. Oh, I love weddings. I love weddings. I love bringing people together. So I want everyone to be happy. Elizabeth has got a good marriage going, and I have got a good marriage going. We want everyone to have a good marriage going for the greater purposes of God.
Mm.
Valentine's
A
Day is
few,
coming soon.
it is. A few years ago, Bishop T.D. Jakes taught a series on marriage and relationships. And if I remember correctly, it was called Junk in Your Trunk. And he,
Junk
he
in the
used
trunk.
he used the illustration of literally like the boot of the car and all the junk that was stored up in the boot of the car. And
Mm-hmm.
if we don't deal with our issues, or a lot of times we come into marriage with junk in our trunks. And as the marriage is going on, this junk starts to
Come up.
manifest.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to manifest. If you don't deal with the junk, it will always be there. It will always be there until you choose to deal with it. But like the saying goes, if you want to see different results,
Take a different path.
take a different path, change what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Take a different path.
Hmm.
So, shall we move on to the next point? I thought it'll be great at this point is to, talking about acknowledging what you're carrying and addressing some of the issues. I think there must be a growing desire to be authentic and
Mm.
not live in la la land, to have that meaningful life, to live meaningfully in a couple of years, this whole year. We have to be authentic, be honest with ourselves and to others.
Mm.
I think authenticity is being honest with ourselves and others, right, Elizabeth?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Oh, authenticity all the way. Being authentic doesn't mean you don't learn, you don't change. It just means you're not trying to be somebody else. You are you.
There's only one Elizabeth and there's only one Kiruba. And our DNAs are unique. So discover what your DNA is because you are unique. You're
Mm,
valued in your unique, being unique. So be authentic and address those issues around you. And we all go through life transition. So to reinvent ourselves, it is basically there is change in our careers, maybe some of us might be migrating to the US.
oh, are you prophesying, Kirubai?
So in our relationships there is a transition, health, and and definitely from glory to glory there is an identity shift that's taking place.
Mm,
So reinventing our identity. Yes, we need to embrace the identity of Christ, but all those things that fall away that is not good is what we don't want in our lives. But embracing the image of Christ in our lives, having the fruit of the Holy Spirit,
mm.
which most of us struggle. I like the workshop we did about um, how to handle fruit of the Spirit in the workplace. I think that
Bring
was
your
very
fruit to
nice.
work.
Yeah, take your fruit to work. I think that was a wonderful thing that we need to expand. I think it's really it was a good workshop. There will be sometime in the year that we may be able to do one for a church.
Mm,
Mm. So these are things that I think these are things that I think that we need to pay attention this 2026, being intentional, being internal first, checking our internals, checking our inward parts. And
mm,
everything that we do has to be courage driven. Because without the courage to face another, Pauline, thank you for sharing that. And rooted in self awareness to bring that
mm,
change. And in all this, having it in a basket to align the purposes and the assignment that we have this this season 2026. I'm excited for 2026, Elizabeth. So to run the race, I need to be fit. I need to take care of my well-being,
mm,
and I need to keep my heart pure. I don't carry offense on the way, because you definitely people will offend you and you might unconsciously offend someone.
mm.
So yeah, Elizabeth, so this is some a few things that I thought we could really talk about. So what are your thoughts?
Whew. We've touched on some serious stuff that I think we need to go away and really think on and reflect on, because if you want to reinvent yourself, there's that situation of what am I working towards? What am I trying to achieve? What is the end goal I want to get to? And I like to say start with the end in mind, right? So remembering that, let's say you want 2026 to be a year where you thrive.
Mm-hmm.
You can't thrive when you have dead weight hanging on you. You
Mm,
can't thrive when you have these limiting beliefs that are always holding you back. How are you going to thrive if you can only go so far? How are you going to thrive if you're not being authentic?
mm-hmm.
How are you going to thrive if you're not being honest with yourself? if you're not looking after yourself. So for anything that you want to push forward with in 2026, you have to be intentional. What do I want my 2026 to be about? What areas do I want to see a shift? And then you might have to take a, like when they're doing an investigation, or when you look with a magnifying glass and you're looking at this, you might need to look into your life, look into your situation, look into a particular area so that you can fix it. Acknowledge that change needs to happen. Acknowledge that cycles need to be broken. Acknowledge that you are tired of the way things look. You are tired, like the Bible says, the Israelites, they went round the mountain. They had gone round the mountain so many times. Acknowledge that you are tired of going round the mountain. Acknowledge that you are tired of dealing with the same issue day in, day out. There's no consistency. Your life is going like this. Acknowledge that change needs to happen. And start thinking about, how can I address these issues? At the start, I talked about the wheel of life. If you've never done it, honestly, go and Google the wheel of life if you don't know about it. Or feel free to reach out to myself or to Coach Kirubai. And look at your life from the different perspectives. And just ask yourself, am I happy? Am I satisfied with the way things look right now? And start asking yourself, if I'm not satisfied, what do I need to be doing differently? What do I need to address? What do I need to cut off? Because for some of us, it's even our environment that we are in that needs to change. For some of us, maybe we are not in community and God is calling us to community. I love to tell people that purpose cannot be accomplished in isolation. We all need people. But that doesn't mean you let everyone into your life. You still need to have boundaries. There have to be levels of access that people have to you. Not everyone can have the same level of access. There has to be priorities. What are the things that are important to you? What are your values? What are you going to prioritize this year? What are you going to say yes to? What are you going to say no to? Because it's not everything that you have to say yes to. There's some things that you're going to have to say no to. There's some things that you're going to have to release. And you're not releasing them because they're dangerous or they're bad or they're poisonous. You're releasing them because they do not serve the season you're currently in and where you are going to.
Well said, well said.
I put out a post today about your goals. You will not be motivated with your goals if your goals do not serve the season you are currently in. If your goals are addressing the season you were in 3-4 years ago, well, guess what? There's not going to be any passion to run with those goals. But you have to think strategically. You have to shift your mindset. So for those of you who are not into personal development, let me put it to you. We all need personal development. We all need it. So check what you're listening to. Who has your ears? Can I put it to you that your life is going to move in the direction of the voices you are listening to? So which voices are you listening to? What are they saying? What are you pouring into your life? Who is pouring into your life? What table are you eating from? Are you just taking in junk? Or have you got some healthy stuff, healthy content, stuff that's good for your mind? Are you the sort of person who goes on social media and you're just scrolling, consuming every rubbish that the algorithm throws at you? It's not everything out there that you need to watch. It's not everything out there that you need to tune into. You need to be selective. Guard your time. When you understand your value, right? You start, your eyes are open. It's almost like this switch goes on in your mind. Because when you understand your value, you start to realize that there are rooms I need to be in. When you understand your value, you start to realize that actually, this is not what I need to be listening to, because this is junk for me right now. When you realize your value, you start to work on legacy. Like, it motivates you and pushes you to work on legacy. When you understand your value, the fact that you are someone of value and you bring something valuable into this world, into this space, into the communities that you find yourself in. And if you don't believe me, look in the mirror. Tell the person staring back at you, you are a person of value. There is so much that we all carry. There's a light that you carry. There are gifts that have been placed into your hands. But unless you open your eyes to those gifts, unless you start to see the value in your voice, the value in who you are, the value in your uniqueness, your authentic self, not the version that you think the world needs to see, but the version that you have been created to be. So it might mean a change of perspective. But if 2026 is going to be different, then we have to be intentional with reinventing ourselves.
Mhm.
But don't forget who you are. When you go to reinvent yourself, don't forget who you are. Don't allow pride to kick in. Don't allow these roots of bitterness, this unforgiveness, this, they say this about me, let me show them. No. You don't have to do it for them. Do it for you. Do it for you. There is something really special for you in 2026, but you need to take hold of it. I can't do it for you. Coach Kirubai can't do it for you. You have to do it for yourself.
Oh, that was good. I was just waiting to stir up the lion in my sister. She was very quiet and suddenly she came up. And that's Elizabeth for you. Yes. You know, let me keep my mouth shut. Oh, that was good, Elizabeth. Final bang. That's good. And if you do not have, if you are struggling with something like that, folks out there, you can always reach out to Elizabeth and myself.
Mm.
Yeah. We are happy to help you. Or if we really can't help you with some difficulty, we can signpost you to the right people because
Okay.
we want this world to be a happy place. Children of God enjoying God's goodness in the land of the living.
2026 is going to be what you make it. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. I said something earlier on. Do things that scare you. Do things that scare you. Things that you thought of and oh, I can't do that. What will they say? What will they think? Give it a go. Give it a go. Do things that bring you joy. Do things that make you smile. Coach Kirubai talked about well-being. Honestly, Look at your schedule, your diary. Every day, do something that makes you smile. Whatever that is, tap into the inner child and do something that makes you smile. But challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. It's going to be a great year. My word for this year is joy. And the reality is that my name is Joy. So basically, this year is about me being me.
Probably I could say that my name means grace. More grace for me.
There you go. So
More
I'm
grace,
going
more
to,
grace.
I'm stepping out to do whatever I'm doing this year with joy, with excitement. Do you know your expectation is going to
Mm,
determine how you posture yourself this year. If you're expected for great things, there's a way you posture yourself.
totally.
If you're not expected for great things, there's also a way you posture yourself because you just can't be bothered. And life will also not be bothered.
See, I like what Pauline said. Forensic investigation.
That's
And
it. That's it.
and to have forensic investigation, you got to be very discerning. Yeah,
You do.
yeah.
Any
So
last words, Kirabai?
no, I thought our conversation went on well, but it always takes a different route. But you know what? All good. The Lord led us to touch many people out there who are struggling.
Hmm.
As much as we are vulnerable, people need to be vulnerable in in sharing, or even finding the right help to be set free.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone who joined our conversation today. Particularly thank you to Pauline.
Pauline.
I know you received a phone call and so it took you away for a bit, but you came back as soon as you were able to. So thank you so much. And thanks for your openness, your vulnerability, and just your honesty as you engaged with the conversation. It makes such a difference. This is the first of many conversations we're having this year, as always. If there are some conversations or some topics that we've maybe touched on and you would like to hear more, feel free to reach out to us. If you want to suggest a topic, feel free to reach out to us. And we can try and bring in these conversations. So myself and Coach Kirubai are part of the Maxwell leadership team, and so we do a lot of work around personal development, around communication, around leadership. There's a leader in all of us, and we just need to develop that leader within. But we need to see the value that we carry. And that's why we like reminding you. You will see some recurring themes in our conversations.
Yeah,
You know,
recurring things, because to completely remind you, keep banging that point home, driving that point home. We would love your feedback, Pauline, and this conversation. We would love you to connect with us, and I would love to have a feedback from you. And these conversations, sorry, we do not prepare. We throw ourselves in the deep end and say, let's speak. And we thank God for the Holy Spirit who leads us to speak.
absolutely. And if you have enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, subscribe, send it to somebody else, and yeah, send it to somebody else, and they will be touched as well by the conversation. I think this is the power of the world, the digital age we are living in. The power of social media is, we can share something and it can live on beyond us, right? It's on YouTube now, so it's going to be on YouTube until YouTube decides to kick it off or until we take it off. So it has power to reach a global world. So help us to share, because the more you share and the more you engage, the algorithm also helps us to push it further. So yes, thank you so much for joining us again, and we will be back
next week.
Next
Same time,
week.
same place.
There you go. There you go. So God bless you all, and thank you once again. See you next week.